What's up, Magic fans? Mackenzie Thirkill here for an all-new episode of Soundoff presented by Socios, and I am so excited to welcome these gentlemen into the show today. I have Gary holding it down for Orlando Magic UK, Christian and Rakesh. Guys, again, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join me. Let's get right into it, shall we? It's crazy to think that we are already past the halfway mark of the season, and while there have been not so exciting moments, there have also been a lot of very exciting moments, I would say, at least for me personally. So I would love to hear from you guys what has been maybe one of your favorite moments from the first half of the season. For me, I just think of the win against the Utah Jazz, and that's just because I was here to witness it, and that was just a very exciting moment. The crowd was absolutely electric to have a big win over a Western Conference team, but I would just love to hear what you guys have loved seeing from this team in the first half. Christian, let's start with you.
I think for me, it'd have to be kind of in general seeing the improvement of Wagner, of Franz, but also seeing him win Rookie of the Month was so cool too. I think that went down while Jalen was out too with his injury. So kind of getting a rookie who Magic fans weren't really sure of when we drafted him and kind of seeing him kind of go into his own role and develop. Mosley not being afraid to draw up plays for him, and also him not being afraid to just kind of see a play developing, see the defense kind of not really pay attention to him and like cut towards the basket and kind of get his points like that has been really exciting too. Kind of just seeing his development overall has been really fun, and kind of knowing that it's like, while this season might not be amazing in terms of wins and losses, we have like more than a couple players, but specifically him, we can know that like he's going to develop into like a great player in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Rakesh?
Yeah, I'm really on the same page as Christian here. My highlight was Franz dropping 38 on the Bucks.
I forgot he dropped 30. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, he's just been amazing to watch this year. Like, it was a total surprise for a lot of Magic fans, I'd say, too. But he just scores in so many different ways that it's just fun to watch. And he's such a patient driver when he's going through the lane. And he's actually had a couple of really high assist games, too, so he's pretty unselfish with the ball, too. And he's been my highlight of the season. I'm loving seeing Franz develop, and I think he's going to be really good.
Yeah, I think Franz was definitely a highlight for so many fans because he wasn't expected to really be a highlight for so many fans. So no one really had these expectations, and then for him to just have the performance that he has had thus far, everyone's like, yes, we got him. No one else. Y'all lost out. Like, yeah. Look what we got. So it's really exciting, and of course, we only hope to see him grow more throughout the season. Gary, what has been
stealing the draft?
Gary, what has been your highlight?
I completely agree with everything that's already been said. From a perspective of a game which has made me just feel on cloud nine for the next day, it's got to be the first win over the Knicks at the Garden. Just for what Cole did, it was almost a triple-double. He did it in front of his family. He did it on a return to New York. And then just getting to see classic T. Ross, where he scored 22 points in the fourth quarter. And that was, he nearly outscored the Knicks by himself. And watching it on TV, you could almost feel the Garden having the air let out of it as the game went on, because they just battered us like by nearly 30 points like the Friday before. So when you could see us doing that to them, and then those gaps starting to appear in the crowd, and you could see our guys getting really energized, and I felt it was just that little glimpse of where we could be. So I think really the sweetness of doing it in New York, Cole doing it in front of his family, and then just T. Ross just almost beating the Knicks single-handedly in the fourth. So for me, I want to say that game.
Chip on our shoulder going into that game, considering the Knicks are who we opened our season at home against. And if you were here, there were a lot of Knicks fans in the crowd, and it was just not a fun environment to be in. So to be able to go back to the Garden and serve them that loss and just kind of be able to silence it, and not only do it once, but we did it twice because we did it again in November. So it's just like cherry on top. So I agree. Anytime getting a win, and then of course Franz Wagner having the season he has had thus far, definitely two big highlights. And there are so many more that I can name. I think another one that we can all agree upon, and this leads me into our next topic, is how much we've seen Cole Anthony mature just as a player, but also in his game from his rookie season to his sophomore season. He has just completely progressed leaps and bounds from what we've seen. So I would love to kind of pick your brains on what you have seen from Cole Anthony. Obviously, if you just look at his numbers statistically, a lot of talk has for him to be in all-star just by how much he's improved. There's also talk of him being in the most improved player category for the end of season. So would love to hear your thoughts on how much you guys have enjoyed just seeing Cole grow so far. Rakesh, let's start with you.
Well, first I'd like to say I don't think he gets enough respect in the most improved player race.
Agreed.
He's definitely overlooked throughout the league. I'd say that he's improved a lot with his passing. I think he looks a lot more aggressive trying to score. I know in his rookie year he was deferring a lot more to Vucevic even on like the pick and rolls, but now he's looking to score a lot more. So that's been good. I think he looks like he's a bit of a better shooter. The shot selection I'd still like to see improve a little bit, but he's been definitely more in control and looks a lot more confident.
Gary?
Cole's my favourite player, so I'm going to be a little bit biased here. But he is that guy. I think really looking at what he went through when he was at college, he wasn't really healthy and he was on a pretty bad Tar Heels team. And then coming in and getting thrust into Markel's spot after the injury, it was really a lot for a rookie to take on. And I think the way, until he got that injury this season, which I think he's still just feeling his way back from, he was really up there with Darius Garland, DeJounte Murray, and other players who were getting a lot of the love for the most improved player. And just what an ambassador for the Magic as well. Everything he does, the way he plays the game, the heart he's got, the charisma, the interviews, the way he interacts with especially younger fans on social media, you can't not root for Cole. And for any player to succeed for Orlando and become that guy, I really, really, really wanted to be Cole Anthony, and I think he's got a real shot of doing it. He's just excitement, box office.
He is, for sure. Christian?
No, definitely what Gary and Rakesh said. I think Markel's injury was a lot personally, I mean, from the outside looking in, for Cole to handle. I mean, you're immediately thrust into a starting spot or like a six-man spot with a lot of minutes where, I mean, you're the point guard, you're the focal point of the offense, and you're kind of in charge of leading the offense generally. I think it was kind of having a season of dealing with that and then coming into this season, new coach, you have a coach that tells you, hey, be aggressive, play with the pass. And then also Mosley isn't afraid to tell Cole, hey, take 7 threes a game from half court, like, and is the shot selection great? No, but kind of from coach to player, giving your player that confidence, I think, like, not in a bad way, but it's motivated Cole, and like not in a gone to his head kind of way, excuse me. Because you see him like not afraid at all to take those, from the logo threes, or kind of take control of a play that's kind of off the rails or something like that. But kind of seeing him mature in the sense of understanding, like, okay, I'm gonna be the starting point guard for the foreseeable future. Even when Markel comes back, a lot of the offensive responsibilities might fall on my hands. Let's see what I can do. I might be able to score 30 points, but I can also get 11 assists in a game. So kind of seeing him, hopefully kind of in this later half of the season, he can kind of climb back into that most improved player race because of his injury and him being out so long. But I think definitely just seeing him kind of put the team on his back, and even like when he does those crazy after game interviews where he hits that game winning shot over Kyle Anderson, the first thing he says is like, shout out Wendell, shout out Roderick. Like, he isn't afraid to kind of talk about his team, even like in a game where he gets like 32, 5, and 11, making up a stat line. But he really is kind of what Gary said. He is that team guy. He is kind of box office hit, whether it's in a game or after a game. So kind of overall, he's improved as a person and as a player, and it's great to see. It's great to see.
Yeah, Cole has a lot of personality. I think there's no denying that. But I think it's one to be raised to underneath an NBA player with his dad, Greg. He knows the business, and just being around it, he's accustomed to having the camera in his face, and he handles it so well at such a young age, just like all of you have touched on. And I think that really just like supersedes so much of what he does on the court, because there's a huge balance between being able to perform, but then also being able to handle it when there's a lot of criticism being thrown your way, and also when you're taking a lot of losses, when you're so accustomed to winning. When you went to places like UNC that has the history, when you went to a high school like Oak Hill that has the history, and you're so used to being in the spotlight, to be able to handle it with such grace, I think says so much to his character, especially only in his second year in the NBA and being thrusted into the starting role his rookie year. Now you have Markelle coming back. We're going to see how he handles all of that. But Christian, like you were saying in his post-game interviews, the first person he acknowledges is not himself. It's everyone around him that supported him, and that's so much what it means to be a team guy. And I think at the end of the day, that's all you can really ask for someone on this team, is someone to be that positive light in the locker room.
Shout out Mo Bamba.
Shout out
Yeah,
Dallas.
who told Mo Bamba? Who told him that? Like, I guess he forgot it was his contract year or something like that. And then he hits 7 of 8 threes and scores like 32. And it's like, I see what you're doing, Mo. I see what you're
Contract
doing.
years are always really exciting. That's when you should be looking at guys, because that's when they show up.
Yeah.
Terrence Ross did it a year or two ago too. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you're in contract year. All right, let's see what you got. Like,
Okay.
without fail.
I see why you brought it up. Yeah.
Without fail, it always happens. But like, love to see that.
Yeah.
Of course, we all love to see that from Mo. The other night against
Oh,
the Sixers,
definitely,
we were
yeah.
like, he's going shot for shot with Joel, and then the second half happens, and you're like,
And then he's like,
and
ugh,
then
50
Joel just
points in
doing what Joel
27 minutes. All right, let's. Yikes.
But guys, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day, like I said, to join me here on Soundoff. I appreciate you guys so much for returning, joining for the first time, and seeing all your faces, and of course, all your input. So thank you again so much. Go Magic, and I'll see you guys later.